Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel and my first Friday Sews video. My name is Shelly. If you are new here, thanks for stopping by. All right you guys, this is my first Friday Sews video. I probably ran across this hashtag for the first time at least a year ago. It is a tag that was first created by Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room. I will link her page in the description box, but I've seen this tag all over. Like, I probably watch Friday Sews videos very often. I don't have a TV here in my dorm room, so my computer and YouTube is what I watch most often, and I always come across Friday Sews videos and I absolutely love them. And today is Friday. It's actually September 1st, which I'm super excited about because that means I have one more month of this deployment and then I am going home. Like today I can officially say I go home next month. And I mean, that just makes me happy. It's the small things. Like when you're deployed, it is really the small things. Every Friday, every weekend is just, you get to take a breath of fresh air because I don't work on the weekends here, which is amazing. And this weekend, I don't have anything planned. Well, I lie, I have sewing planned. I have so much sewing planned. I want to get caught up. I have a few trips coming up, and so I figured, why not do a Friday Sews video? Show you guys what I have going on, what I've been up to, and what I plan to do. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so first let's chat about what I've been up to, which is either a whole lot of sewing and prep or days go by without doing nothing at all. Last week work was really busy, so I did not get much sewing done. I was able to get a few things prepped, a few things cut, but not much sewing. But the week prior, I was really busy, or I should say really productive. If you saw my last video, you saw that I made McCall's 8324, which is this top right here. I did I did a mixture of the versions. I did this version, but with the short sleeves. So if you haven't seen that, I will link it below for you to check out. I will just tell you that I really like this shirt. I got a lot of compliments and it came out really well. I'll insert a few pictures so you can see it if you haven't already. So in the pattern review, I go over all the things I do and don't like about the pattern, which, to be honest, there wasn't much I didn't like. So with this same fabric, I was able to make McCall's 8361, and I made View C. I like the longer version, and the sleeves on this one compared to the others. And you guys, the dress came out really good, like really good. I did have to make a few adjustments for the top. I simply had to, you know, cut off some fabric to adjust for my bust because there was a lot of gaping there. But I do plan to do a pattern review for this. I'd be interested to know if any of you guys have made this or have plans to make it, because one of my friends made it and she omitted the whole collar and she had to do the opposite adjustment for the bust because she has a bigger bust than I. So we kind of conversed about that. So I'd be interested to see you guys' comments on this particular pattern. All right, so moving right along, I also completed Simplicity 9618. This bag pattern right here, it is actually a tote bag that comes in 3 sizes. And you guys, when I saw this pattern from Simplicity back when it was released, I was like, thank you Simplicity. Thank you for doing the work and creating a pattern for this bag that I have been absolutely crushing over for I don't know how long. This bag, if you don't know, it very much resembles the Marc Jacobs totes, and I wanted to make a pattern for that bag myself, and simplicity did the work. This bag pattern was easy. Obviously I have a bit of advantage because as a bag maker I've made lots of bags. I think I read the first 4 steps in the instructions, and I didn't read the rest of the instructions because I already knew what to do. I knew what I was going to cut out, and I knew what I was going to add. And so, to be honest, putting together the exterior of the bag is all I needed to know. And once I figured that out, it was up from there. I was able to put this bag together. I think I completed this bag in like less than 3 hours. And so that's with cutting out the pattern. Okay, let me go back. So that's not completely true. It took me longer to construct the exterior part of the bag than all the rest of the steps. So when I did the exterior, I actually used an industrial sewing machine at the alteration shop here on camp. I happened to strike a conversation with the owner a while ago, and we got to talking about sewing. I showed her some of my bags. She showed me some of the embroidery things that she's done, and we just kind of, y'all know how us sew people get when we find other sewers. And so it was one of those moments. And she also told me like, hey, you can use this industrial machine whenever you want to. And so when it was time to make this bag, I was like, yes, I'm going to put the bag together, the exterior at least, at her shop. And I don't know why I thought it would be faster and a lot simpler, and also a lot neater, because if you've ever sewn with an industrial sewing machine, the machine uses a thicker thread. It's usually just a straight needle, so it sews in a straight line, and usually it's really, really perfect. You can really get perfection if you're familiar with the machine and if you're comfortable using it. But this particular industrial machine was probably older than I was, and it was still in tip-top condition. It was so fast and so strong that it took me like 30 to 45 minutes just to get the pressure with the pedal right. It took a long time because I felt like I was pushing and giving it power, and I was not even. And so, you know, I think with my sewing machine, well, I know with my sewing machine, I've just gotten so used to kind of using my toe. But for that industrial sewing machine, I had to use my whole foot. Like, I had to put my whole foot on there and actually use my calf muscle because that baby was strong. But after I put the exterior together, putting the rest of the bag together was literally a breeze. I'll also insert some pictures here. So I plan to do a pattern review for this pattern as well, because I really did make a lot of changes to the pattern. I decided to do a full placket for my zipper because the pattern does not require that. The pattern actually has an exposed zipper on the bottom side, and I'm just not a fan of that look, so I fully enclosed my zipper so there are no raw edges. Also, I dropped the lining down a little bit so that the placket was not right at the top of my bag. And I also put a zipper pocket on the interior, as well as the pockets that the pattern required. So I do have plans to make this bag once I get home and get to my own industrial sewing machine, which I will be purchasing almost immediately once I get back to the States. I actually sold my Janome. I had a Janome 6700P that I would use for bag making, but I sold that before I left because I knew once I came back I was ready for my very own industrial machine. So I plan to make this bag again with faux leathers and even possibly a cork. So Let me know if you guys are interested in a sew along for this pattern or any other bag pattern for that matter, because I absolutely just love bag making, because I feel like it's a lot easier than making clothes. I don't know why, but I feel like I know it's easier than making clothes. But anyway, I digress. Moving right along to y'all. All right, let's talk about new look 6491. This pattern was the Sew Your View pattern of the month for June. I was so ready to make this pattern, but I just did not like the fabric that I chose for this dress. And so I'll insert some video right here. So I also previously did a short asking for advice on the direction of the fabric, because the fabric is just extremely busy. If I could go back in time, I would choose a totally different fabric. I'd probably even choose a different base, because I chose an uncarved fabric and it's just really stiff. It might also be because I did not wash it prior to sewing with it, but hey, you live and you learn. Anyhow, instead of just giving up totally, what I have decided to do is just take the bodice and just make it a shirt. I am going to make it do what it do. So I actually have that. It is about 50% complete, because as you can see from the little snippets of the dress, it was almost done, but I just did not like it. And although it's a nice dress, I don't feel comfortable in it, and so I'm just gonna make it a shirt, and that'll be the end of it. All right, so now that we've talked about the past, let's talk about the future, and I'm going to show you guys what I plan to get into over the next week or so and start making really soon. So this first pattern is one I'm kind of excited to get started, because I feel like everybody either has already made it or has plans on making it. Like, I've watched a few videos over the past few days, and it is a reoccurring dress that constantly comes up in almost every video. I'm gonna give you a hint. It is a maxi dress by the one and only Mimi G. So I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It is Simplicity 9597. Like, this dress is everywhere, and I'm so excited to get around to making it. If you could tell, my envelope is empty. It's because I've already cut up the pattern, and so all I have to do is cut up the fabric and get to sewing it. And so as far as my fabric, I am going to be using this gorgeous print that I got from Minerva. And I believe this is a viscose challis, and I purchased 3 yards. So that is the fabric that I plan to use, but I am just a bit concerned because I bought 3 yards, and of course I bought the fabric without knowing what I was going to use it for, so I assumed 3 yards would be enough for whatever I wanted to make. But looking at the back of the pattern envelope, for my size, I need 3 3/8 yards of fabric to accomplish this dress. And so obviously I know that is a suggestion, and it's give or take a little bit based off of your measurements. And usually in the past, I've usually had a lot of fabric left over because I usually have to cut off a little for my height. And so since I'm 5'1", it's usually very, very long. So I don't know how it's going to go, but at this point, I'm already in and my mind is made up, so we'll see. Stay tuned. All right, so next up is a PDF pattern, and I have never ever sewn with a, I was about to say I've never sewn with the PDF pattern, which for garments is very true. I've never sewn any clothes item with the PDF pattern. But now that I think about it, I've sewn with a lot of PDF patterns, but it's been for bags. And I feel like it's very, very different, even though I've never done it, because bag PDF patterns are only a few pattern pieces, and a lot of them are rectangles, triangles, or something of the sort. It's not something that you have to tape multiple pieces together to get a full piece. So this pattern here is from Unfettered Patterns, and I'm actually very new to this pattern company. Let me get a little closer so you guys can see. It is a really, really cute jumpsuit. And this is a free pattern, by the way. I was introduced to this pattern company and pattern by Lisa from And So On. I believe that's the name of her channel. I will link her channel in the description box. I came across her video because it was a video highlighting, I don't remember the exact number, so don't quote me on this, 20 or so free summer patterns. And so I was like, oh, okay, that sounds like something I'd be interested in, because who does not like a free pattern? So this was one of the ones that she highlighted, and I mean, this jumpsuit is absolutely gorgeous. If y'all are familiar with this pattern company, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if I'm wasting my time. Let me know if you've used their patterns before and they're good. Because like I said, it's first time. It seems fairly straightforward. There are, let's see how many pages. So that's just it. I really don't know how many pages there are because the pages are not numbered. But the instructions seem pretty straightforward. But there are only 2 pages of instructions. With bag patterns, there is more pages of instructions than actual pieces you have to cut out and put together. However, there are a lot of pages that I have to print out and put together, and I don't know if it's going to be difficult or not. All I can do is assume, and since there are no numbers on this pattern, I feel like it's going to be interesting once I cut this out. I mean, maybe it'll all come together like a puzzle, but I'm not really good at puzzles, so we'll figure it out. It will definitely be an adventure. And so either way, I will come back next Friday and let you guys know exactly how it went. Hopefully it's positive. But if it's not, either way, I'll let you know. All right, so lastly, I have 2 patterns, because I'm indecisive and I haven't decided which pattern I want to use. I only need 1 dress, and over the weekend I purchased a cotton poplin fabric from a local fabric store because I want to make a dress for my upcoming trip to Italy. And so I have 2 patterns here. Both are simplicity patterns, and coincidentally both are Mimi G patterns. So first I'll show you guys Simplicity 9539, which is this pattern right here. It is a Mrs. dress. I really like this option because it's casual chic and it kind of screams Italy. I feel like you can dress it up, you can dress it down, and you know, it will be all good. Suggested fabrics for this dress are silky types, cottons, linens, and poplins. And so the next option I have is Simplicity 9554, which is this unisex shirt dress. And actually I have made this pattern before. It was late last year that I made this pattern, and it was a really quick sew. The pattern instructions are very simple, very straightforward. and I made it in a linen, which was in an orange color. I have a video on my channel for the pattern review. I will also link that below if you're interested to see how that shirt dress came out. But I will tell you, it was gorgeous. And so I know how to make this pattern. I've done it before. I feel like it will be easy to do again. And so that's kind of why I'm leaning to this. But I kind of want to do this, but I really don't know. So let me know which one, if you were me, which pattern would you make for Italy? I feel like y'all are going to say this one, but I don't know. So let me know your thoughts. Okay, so that wraps up my recent makes and upcoming sewing plans. You guys, can you tell that I've gotten closer and closer and closer to the camera as this video has gone on? Because check this out, look how aggressive this sun is coming in through the window. So as a result, I keep having to get closer and closer, which is okay. You guys can see my attempt at a halo braid that I did this morning to try to hide the fact that I need to wash my hair. One other thing that I need to add to my to-do list for this weekend, in addition to, let's just call it a very energetic sewing weekend. Although I have 6 weeks left on my deployment, 6 or 7 weeks, it just depends on when my successor gets here. Hopefully by next week she has a date, and then I will have a date on when I am going to leave. But for now, let's just say 7, because if it's less, it's always a good thing to over project than to under project and then get my hopes up and think I'll be home in 6 weeks when it's really 7. So with that said, I made a lot of sewing plans when I first got here, and I haven't sewn that much, and so I'm just playing catch up. So this weekend I really plan to get a lot more done. So I hope to make another Friday Sews video next week just to show you guys where I am in the process, and hopefully I have a lot more to show than I have so far. So wish me luck and let me know if you have any questions, and I really appreciate all of my subscribers, the likes, the comments, and just the community that lives here on YouTube. YouTube is where I consume probably 90% of my entertainment, just because I don't have a TV in my room. It's just me and my computer. So most days I turn on YouTube and let it just suggest to me what I need to watch. And of course, it's always sewing videos. So I'm always seeing a lot of you guys sewing and sewing plans, and it's just really motivating. So with that, I am signing off, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.